Welcome back, everyone, to the Overclocking World Championship Las Vegas 2017. This is the first event of the year, and we're moving forward the bronze final. We're gonna see Dogna from Japan against bboyjezz from Indonesia. These two were the unlucky overclocker just in the the semi-finals before. I'm Truthman from OverClocking-TV, and I will be commenting for you this bronze final against bboyjezz and Dogna with our friends from India, Tullius. Hey Tullius, can
Hey,
you hear me? Wow, perfect. Can hear you well. So we are here in Las Vegas at the CS. In fact, sadly, you are not here with us, but I wish that could have been the case. We
I
have been comment.
so wish I could have been there. It's not even funny. Seriously FOMOing. Like I said, even on your Facebook page. I mean, I seriously. I was very jealous when you posted that video.
But that's the thing. We are traveling to this to 10 different locations this year for the Overclocking World Championship. This is the first one and the first for the complete year. That would be funny to see what the guys would be able to do. And I'm sure there's some of the Overclockers we're gonna see them more than once. Lucky Noob, I'm pretty sure we're
I'm
gonna see
sure.
him more than once. bboyjezz, I'm
I'm
pretty sure we're
sure.
gonna see him more than once as well. I mean, these guys would be at Computex. This guy will be in Indonesia for the event if there is one again this year, for sure, man. These guys are at the top of their game, and Dogna was the complete outsider in here. So what we have now is the bronze final that is almost ready to be started. I can't wait to see about Lee Gooft. Maybe he can.
Benchmarks opnieuw aflezen.
Alrighty, Lee Gooft, we are
Okay,
good
we
to go.
go. Okay, gentlemen. Normally you are disqualified. You should not go off stage without my permission. And it's over.
This is actually one of the new rules for the 2017 season.
Okay,
You cannot
guys.
just go out of the stage.
Reading the rules of the, let's say, the benchmarks again. 3D Mark 11 Physics, limited 5.5, one flat out, one X265 benchmark 1080p, GPUPi, CPU 500M, Cinebench R15, SuperPi 16M, and SuperPi 8M limited 5.5G and one flat out.
Tick tack, tick tack.
GPUPi 500M, B-Boy. Keto fine as well? Okay, GPUPi for CPU 500M it will be.
Another very interesting benchmark.
Yeah, it's fine.
And again, this isn't something that we bench
Okay, we do the
as a
countdown.
benchmark.
So the judge will do
5,
the countdown.
4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off.
And here we are. This is the first final, so the bronze final between bboyjezz and Dogna from Japan. bboyjezz is from Indonesia. He will be having the red side of the stream, and we will be able to see what these guys are doing. So let's jump right in. Right now, we can see they are all both into the BIOS. bboyjezz is going into deactivating some of the features, or actually forcing them to be enabled, like the hyper trading. You could have just leave that in auto if you want. The main reason why they want to disable it is just because they wanted to make sure that it would be working.
That's true. Now they're enabling all their cores because for this benchmark you're gonna need all the muscle you can throw at it. So hyperthreading enabled, everything enabled. They're gonna throw literally everything they have at it. So it'll be interesting to see again what they do with their memory. That's something that I want to keep a close eye on. Not that this benchmark is affected that much by memory. I mean, it does help, but it's not super memory dependent.
And they are all exactly using the same hardware, so they are both using the Gigabyte Z270X gaming SoC motherboard, and they're using an Intel 7th generation CPU, the Core i7 7700K. This is a Kaby Lake CPU. This is an overclocker's dream. I mean, you can overclock and have a lot of fun with it. That's super easy. All right, so let's deep dive a little bit more. Dogna is already adjusting his timings quite loose at 18, 18, 18, 18, 36 instead of 15, 15, 36. Tullius, what would that give him as advantage to start with these kind of timings?
Basically, it's just going to give him some. It's going to give him some headroom, and then I guess he can tighten from here on. But I think he just wants to see whether the memory can run 3400, 3466 or 33. I'm not too sure. I couldn't quite catch that. But he wants to see whether the memory can run that speed first, and then you can add more voltage and you can tighten your memory and you can take it from there. But he's just trying to figure out a baseline right now in terms of what his memory clock can be.
Interesting as well that he did not save a profile, something that some of the other overclockers would have done. You cannot load profile in this competition, so you have to come clean of anything in the motherboard. That's very important. But you can redo your own profile by yourself if you want. So it's like if you want to do it, you can. Would you do it? Not sure. I think it's just a strategy that you should take or not.
Honestly, it just takes another 30 seconds to save a base profile, and then you can always, come back. Even if you have to reset the BIOS, it just saves you time. So, yeah, I think it's a general good practice to just have one profile in your BIOS ready to go, which you can boot maybe 5.5 gigahertz, whatever it is. So, because very often you have to power down the system, you've got to clear CMOS, you've got to do all that, and then coming back and setting everything up, it's time consuming. I mean, you're using time that you'd rather much be, benching.
And especially in these 30-minute matches, time flies. Yeah. And indeed, the time flies so fast. It's already 4 minutes. It's already 4 minutes in there. Wow. And some people were asking earlier that why can't they just go into Windows straight away, do a benchmark, and come back? I mean, the main reason is these guys know that they have some safe settings. So, for example, a 5 GHz CPU, 5 GHz Kaby Lake CPU, the 7700K, that will be stable even on water cooling. So that is not a big issue whatsoever.
Absolutely. I mean, you could even very easily boot 5.5, 5.8 gigahertz on LN2 straight out of the BIOS, because considering you can run pretty much 5.2, 5.3 on good CPUs on good water cooling under LN2, when you're sub-zero, you'd have no issues booting 5.5, 5.6 gigahertz straight out of the BIOS at all.
But once again, the key point is having a placeholder score. So the first score that you will do is something that you can rely on super easily, and that you know that at least you're gonna have a score on the scoreboard. That's very important before you even start going too deep into the system and maybe crashing it and being too close to the stability. So having a first score is something that is very interesting, and that I guess that everyone should be having for these kind of competitions.
Yeah, I mean, numbers on the board is most important. At the end of the day, your system could crash, never come back. Your CPU could die. I mean, or the same could happen to your competitor. So having numbers on the board, there's absolutely no replacement. That's most important.
So GPUPi for CPU 500M, that's gonna be quite a long benchmark for sure.
Yeah, this is going to take a fair amount of time. So again, I'd be brute forcing this really quickly. We still have time, but within the next 7, 8, 10 minutes, I'd really start pushing the CPU hard to figure out how far I can push it with this benchmark. It is quite a heavy benchmark as well, so keeping temperatures and keeping track of all of that is going to be quite critical here as well.
And we have seen Dogna is already benching. I didn't saw the frequency he was running at, but we will be able to see it when you're gonna finish his first score. So that's a strategy that they could implement as well. I mean, the guys have to be above 0 degree when they start benching, and then they have to get down to
They've got to pull down.
yeah, they have to pull it down, and then especially that with this kind of Kaby Lake CPUs, you can go full pot. So having a lot of LN2 for the cooling, that's something you have to be careful, because if you just go full pot straight away, you can run into a lot of issues.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Even because when you hit temperatures this low, your socket contracts, everything shrinks, and it's just in general it's very hard on the board. Like all the solder joints, all of that stuff, it's just hard on the board when you pull down this quick.
Okay.
So yeah, you can
First
you
score in,
can.
guys. 1 minute 48.797. 1 minute
We have the first score?
48.797.
We had the first score by Dogna.
Yep.
By Dogna
Dogna.
So 1 minute 48 seconds.
at the 8-minute mark.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
And there's multiple way to calculate actually within the GPUPi for CPU. There's different implementation you can run. Depending on the implementation you can run, you can either make it or break it, like we used to say. That's an issue that Alva Jonathan,
Next score for
Lucky Noob,
B-Boy. 1
had
minute
some
15 648. 1 minute 15 648.
so
1
we can
minute
see there's a
15
there's a,
648.
a
Wow,
good
that's
30 seconds difference in between them by now. So this is quite a huge lead by bboyjezz right here. Even though he was not having the first score, Dogna was putting his name on the scoreboard at first, but they will both be trying to improve step by step the system. So Dogna is still benching. Let's focus a little bit on bboy. 5.8 gigahertz for the cores, 5.5 for the uncore. He's at 1.77 volt for the CPU. Still a little bit lower than what we see before, with 1.85. Well, of course, that's with liquid nitrogen. You guys at home, if you get one of these Kaby Lake CPU, the 7700K, with 1.35 volt, you can pretty much get 5 gigahertz.
pretty much. I mean, most good CPUs are doing 5 gigahertz at 1.35 or 1.38 volts. So, luck of the draw, but it is the silicon lottery. But chances are, most CPUs will pull off 5 gigahertz in a usable manner. It's just you'll probably have to derate them to get them to run, with lower temperatures.
Yeah, and we can see now Dogna, even though he knows that at batch 14, he was already behind
New best score, Dogna. 1
bboyjezz.
minute 43.223. 1:43.223.
So he knew that even at batch 14, he was behind bboyjezz. He would not be able to beat him at this game. But now he's still submitting and finishing the benchmark, so he doesn't have to. So he knows if it's stable up until the end. Oh, but did you saw that? Did you see what happened? Okay, next time is restarting the benchmark. Have a look at the calculation procedure he's using. I can't say it too loud, but look at the calculation procedure he's using.
B-Boy, new score, 1 minute 11.442. 1 minute 11.442.
What an impressive score again. I mean, now he's he's in the lead, and he's like getting some more advance for it, and he's only at 5.8 gigahertz. Dogna, trying to do the same, is actually at 6 gigahertz. So there's a huge difference between the two, and these come from some settings for sure, because this is more than just I mean, someone that is that much faster than you, with 200 megahertz less of CPU frequency. There's definitely something going wrong. So this is bboy. So bboy, as you can see, is using one implementation of the calculation, and if we have a look at Dogna, look at the benchmark. You have the 3 API names, and then you have OpenCL CPUs, and just underneath, look at the name. This is the implementation, AMD APP. If we have a look at bboy, we don't see it. It's just say compiling OpenCL kernels. They don't have the same settings here.
Yes, bboy is using Intel's OpenCL, whereas Dogna is using AMD's OpenCL, which comes from their SDK. So
Yeah,
that's definitely one of.
Let's not repeat that too much because everyone can hear that here.
Oh.
Thank you, Tullius. You just made it happen.
bboy,
Oh,
new score,
boy.
1 minute 9,117. 1 minute 9,117.
So he's cruising. He's definitely cruising.
He's on its way. I mean, do you think he can go below 1 minute?
Well, he's only at 6 gigahertz. So if he can manage to run this at 6.3, 6.4, there is definitely a chance we'll see him break the 1 minute. Definitely.
6.2. So 6.2 gigahertz.
1.82 volts. Now it's getting serious.
And they both crashed.
Oh.
Ligoft is complaining about his extra weight, maybe?
Both
So
of them.
Dogna is reheating his system right now. He needs to because they both crashed. And if we check, bboyjezz is not even using insulation on his CPU pod. I mean, for a 30-minute match, this is maybe not very useful. Someone had the same techniques actually at the HWBot World Championship Grand Final last year. That was DognaOCer. He was not using any insulation. He was not even using the mounting system of the CPU pod.
Yeah, I actually saw him do that.
Alrighty. So here we have Dogna. Dogna is right now in the BIOS. So he's adjusting vCores at 1.6. So this will be his default boot for the system. On the other side, we already have bboyjezz filling up again, the LN2. So these guys have to do the best score in GPUPi for CPU 500M. This is a heavy benchmark that can be run on graphic cards, but you can also run it on the CPU.
Yeah, it can stress can stress just about any GPU or CPU that you have, including some of the largest problem sizes.
Halfway, guys. 15 minutes to go.
You need a lot of RAM also for the large problem sizes to run.
So let's see the settings from bboyjezz. He's adjusting some of the voltages. We can see that he's actually more conservative in the settings for his default boot system. But that's just maybe one of his technique to go. I mean, that's not a big deal because you know that the system is gonna have to boot every time that you want it to start.
Yeah, there is a theory maybe that basically said, I mean, if you boot a little bit slower, you don't generate as much heat when you reach the OS. So it's just maybe a little bit better in terms of that, but yeah, that's actually debatable, I think.
What would be your way of doing it if you were in that situation?
Well, considering 5 gigahertz is pretty much a very safe zone. I mean, and we're on LN2 and we're sub-zero, so I'd probably be booting at least 5.5 gigahertz. But then again, it really makes as good as no difference because they're going to come in and just boost the multiplier straight away. sometimes I actually like to go step by step. Sometimes this is just me personally. I don't know if it's even true, but sometimes what I find is that I'll actually hit say if I want to bench 6.2 gigahertz, I'll actually start off at 5.5, boot into the OS, apply 58, run maybe like this, maybe the CPC stress test, and then apply 60, run it again, apply 62, run it again, and then start my benchmark. It's I like to take it step by step. Sometimes for me at least, I think that when I jump, as in when I have a really large jump in terms of multiplier, the system sometimes is a little bit less stable than when I do it that way. But that's just personal preference again.
Yeah, that's how you do, but that's as you say, maybe you don't know if that's the reason why it's doing this way.
Yeah, it's just personal preference again. I mean, just since the olden days, it's just you, and also you just want to like nurse it, take it step by step. But then again, in live competitions, you really don't have that luxury.
So he's doing the CPU Z strut test. So this is basically like heating up the CPU. He's just maybe trying to see if it's stable enough with the specific voltage. And we can't see the temperature right now, but I'm pretty sure he's checking it as well to know what is the sweet spot for it.
I'm sure he can see it on his fluke. Oh. Well, at least he knows it was running at 1.88, I mean, or 1.86 volt, whatever setting he had earlier. So, yeah, I mean, there's still 12 minutes left. So there is plenty of time still for bboyjezz to get at least maybe 3 runs in, maybe even 4. And likewise, same for Dogna. But
so here we are, like 1/3 of the time for these matches is left, and we have bboyjezz that is 1 minute 9 seconds, 117 milliseconds, and we have Dogna that is lacking behind, like far behind at 1 minute 43 seconds, 222. So this is not like double, but it's a very large difference between the two scores.
it's quite a significant gap. It's now one can only hope that both of them can get their systems to behave themselves, and just give them a couple of quick runs, because towards the end of the competition, I mean towards the end of the round, we've seen most people have some sort of issues with their boards and stuff like that. So far that's been the case, but you just hope that that they can get their gear to behave and just give out some nice fast results.
So here we have Dogna just made the settings at 6 gigahertz. He's setting the priority in real time. So he's going to be starting again the calculation. So that's going to take quite a few minutes. Actually, a minute and 43 seconds or less. Oh, and he crashed? Did he just crash?
I think he did.
Yeah, he did crash. Wow. Well, that was quick. So still his system is not stable, and he's like, he's not sure exactly what's going on. It seems like he's being confused right now, looking at the system, at the postcode, and maybe he will go back in the system for another session of the bench. bboyjezz is having the same kind of issue actually. They are both having issue now that either it's too cold or either one of the settings is messing around with them in the BIOS, but they need to find out why this was like this. They need to find out why it was this way.
This is exactly precisely what I was trying to say, because later on, 20 minutes down, we've seen even in the past rounds that in the last 5-6 minutes, it's actually been very, very, very difficult to get the system to run properly. So again, having numbers on the board is the most important thing. That is the most important thing. But yeah, we can see bboyjezz, he's completely draining all the power from the motherboard, as in hoping to reset it. And
He's not back in, but Dogna is now back. Dogna is now back in the game. He's back into the Windows OS. So you have less than 10 minutes now, and you really need to make sure that he can get the system working. So still just gonna do a 20M calculation. Did he select 20M or 500? It's supposed to be
500.
500, yeah. He's killing out some unused and unneeded process. VCCST, one of the voltages at 1.45. Surprisingly enough, I would never have touched this one. So 5.5 gigahertz for both the cores and N core is... Oh no, it's going straight to 6 gigahertz now.
60.
So the guys like
Wow.
change and apply. So 6 gigahertz N core. Oh my god, if that run past, that's gonna be massive.
Yeah, that would be massive.
Can you see the blue screen coming? And it crashed. And it crashed again. So maybe that was too too
Yeah, I
high
think
for him, like
too high.
too hard to make it work as you would have expected.
Yeah. No, that's. I would think. I would think that the cache is a bit too high here.
The judge, Mr. Ligoft from Belgium, is here making sure that the overclockers are respecting the rules, adapting to the system, and playing within the rules that they were supposed to. So we have bboyjezz that is back at benching almost. He's just adjusting his CPU again. So he's at 6 gigahertz for the cores. He's at 5.8 for the on-core. But you can see, did you saw the voltage? Did you saw the voltages he just used? He used 1.9 volt. This is crazy. I mean, I was expecting 180, 185. But
Yeah, this is
1.9 for a 6.2 gigahertz CPU. This is wow. That will create a lot of heat there, and that would be quite quite massively impacting on the system as well.
yeah. Anything over 1.88, 1.9, you start getting into dangerous territory with CPUs. Then again, I haven't really played with the 7700Ks so far, so I don't know how they react. But with Skylake, anything over 1.9 volt, and you were walking into dangerous territory. So both of them are having issues with their systems right now.
Well, of course, the issue is not the system itself; it's the way they will handle they will handle the system. Obviously, these guys are using liquid nitrogen. This is obviously quite extreme. I don't think there's much more extreme. I mean, yes, you can use liquid helium, but yeah.
Sure.
In a place like this, I don't think that would ever happen, especially for competition.
Yeah.
There's way too many challenges in having liquid helium for that.
You need like 3 people just for the liquid helium holes and to look after everything.
And it's although much more expensive. Like liquid nitrogen is quite cheap in some countries as well. But anyway, we have less than 5 minutes now, and we are at 6.2 gigahertz on Dogna. It will be running the benchmark once again. So will it crash? Do you think it will crash, Tullius?
Well, if he's not really pushed the...
And blue screen!
We're so mean.
It's like you just expect people to blue screen. I mean, that was the Australian guy. They were saying that basically, I think it was the Australian or Massman saying that basically overclocking is trying to get as many blue screen as you can up until before it works. And there you go. It's been a while. There was no score. I mean, it's been a while. They haven't posted any score. Dogna is
It's
back
been
into the BIOS.
it's been close to 12 minutes now that we haven't seen a score.
We have bboy that is adjusting some of the settings, so 5 gigahertz.
5.5.
So if you're on the live chat right now on Twitch and you're just asking yourself, what is this? So basically, they do overclocking. They try to increase the performances of the computers that they have, changing a few parameters and settings. And what you can see them doing
3
is like
minutes, lads.
they have
3
the
minutes.
same process of changing. So for example, boot at 5 gigahertz, change that to 5.3 gigahertz, change that to 5.6 gigahertz, then move to 6 gigahertz, because they would sometimes it's too difficult for the system to just go from 5 gigahertz to 6 gigahertz, especially in these extreme conditions.
Very true. Very true. You step by step is generally the best way, and you also know what your hardware can do and if something's causing issues along the way. So just directly jumping from 5 gigahertz to 6 gigahertz and not seeing boot, you really won't know why it's happening. It's best to just go step by step, maybe couple of 100 megahertz bumps every, and that's generally the best approach. But in competitions like this, sometimes you just have to get brutal.
Even though you want to get brutal, you still need to have the system running.
Yes, and if you kill your CPU, that's still a disqualification. If I'm not mistaken.
So let's focus on bboyjezz right now. He's increasing. He was increasing the V core. Ah, yeah, right. 1.85 now. So 1.85 volt. This is quite a lot of voltages. Don't try to put that many volts in your gaming PC back at home, even on Kaby Lake. First of all, you don't need it to have 5 gigahertz. And these guys are using liquid nitrogen. So he's going to be at 5.8 gigahertz. And core is at 5.5. He's doing SuperPi. That is not the benchmark that he's supposed to run, but it's just doing it to test if it is stable, and it seems like it's not. Are we waiting for the blue screen? No. I'm so sad now. I'm so sad. I wanted to see the blue screen. Here we have Dogna. 1 minute left. 1 minute left in this first bronze final here at the Overclocking World Championship Las Vegas 2017. The winner of that match will be ranked third of this event. The loser would be fourth. And what is important here is they all use the exact same system, the Core i7-7700K. So it's a 4-core CPU with hyper-threading, so that makes it 8-thread. They're using GPUPi for CPU 500M. And they are way above 6 gigahertz. And here we go, 6.1 gigahertz at 1.8 volt using liquid nitrogen to cool it down.
20 seconds left.
GPUPi for CPU. So the rules is they need to have the benchmark running before the end. So the only chance we have right now is that Dogna will be having.
Dogna's got it running.
5, 4,
3, 2, 1, and it's done.
Alright, so we have Dogna that still run a benchmark. So the only one that
do this, man.
So we have Dogna that is still running the benchmark.
Good job,
so
man.
officially we could be waiting the end of the benchmark. Alrighty, unless he's stopping it, and
it's crashed.
And there you go. This was the setting. This was the setting that was causing the issue. It's just changing. So this is over. bboyjezz is actually making it. The settings he used was the implementation of the OpenCL libraries.
Depends on the version you have.
You can use on Intel. You can use the Intel implementation or the AMD implementation. And there's always this few settings that you need to understand for the benchmark to completely run. Here we have these two guys, bboyjezz and Dogna. bboyjezz is now ranked third in the Overclocking World Championship Las Vegas 2017 event. Whoa,
That
that's
was
quite a match, eh?
quite a match. Quite a match.
Oh my god, we are back here at the Overclocking World Championship 2017 Las Vegas. This was the bronze final between bboyjezz and DognaOCer from Japan. The winner of this match is bboyjezz. He managed to do 1 minute 9 seconds 117 milliseconds, while Dogna did 1 minute 43 seconds and 222 milliseconds. This is a huge difference in between the performances right there. The main reason is, even though they were both benching at above 6 gigahertz, they were not using the exact same settings on the benchmark as well, and this was the main issue for Dogma. Dogma end up um, losing precious time as well into the BIOS by not setting up some of these timings. But you know, that's what happened when you're in these kind of games. Tullius, thank you very much for commenting on that match. Thank you very much for commenting on all the matches today. We're gonna find you
Totally my
guys
pleasure.
back. We're gonna find you guys back in the analysis with Build Zoid.
Done.
So don't forget, guys, keep pushing it.